Summer's just getting started, so fill your cooler with the smooth and refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. It tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. And with a 5% kick of alcohol, Twisted Tea is perfect for the beach, the lake, or wherever you're hanging out and day drinking with your friends. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
In SEC country, the key to our confidence comes from having a goal and knowing just how we're going to get there. So in these pivotal moments, we come together for inspiration and a plan. Financial confidence in SEC country works that way too, when you and your banker get together to create your personal Regions Greenprint plan.
I think that'll really work. Thanks.
So let's huddle up, because in an SEC world, we're the SEC Bank. Regions, official bank of the SEC, member FDIC.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
Hey, folks, this is Arthur. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative. Located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville, our brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, our diverse menu has something to please every palate. With a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, we invite you to savor the unique flavors of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative. Call 256-678-7036. The Brewers Cooperative.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. So it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Stuart Evans, mortgage loan officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation in a changing rate environment. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit me at our downtown Huntsville office and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Your Rocket City Trash Banners are back at Toyota Field for a home stand against the Tennessee Smokies. Today at 6:20 on Talk Radio WZZN 97.7 HD2 and the Talk Radio WZZN app.
WZZN, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Final Thursday of the month of August is upon us, heading into Labor Day weekend coming up this weekend as well, as we're a day closer to Alabama football kicking off. And you heard Hey Coach last night right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Crimson Tide Sports Network will take over our airwaves Saturday at 3 o'clock. So that tells me we have a little bit of room to spare on Saturday morning for your college football listening pleasure. And beginning at 10:30, we'll have coverage of Penn State at West Virginia from ESPN Radio, and that will roll into our coverage of Alabama and the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. We'll also have coverage of Miami at Florida over on Talk Radio. We're going to try to squeeze this in as best we can, as that is going to kick at 2, heading into our coverage of the Trash Pandas as they continue their homestand against the Smokies. So we'll try to squeeze that game in as best we can over on the Talk Radio side. But as I mentioned, we're live here at Woody Anderson Ford. Always great to be here on campus. How are you, Wes Neighbors?
Doing good. Great to be at Woody Anderson Ford. And looking at this van over here, it's unbelievable.
Feels appropriate that the Ramblin' Wreck is always prominent here, especially
after last weekend, right?
Exactly. And you know what? I totally forgot. It's a quick turnaround for Florida State. They've got Boston College this weekend.
Yes.
They've got the Eagles and another ACC matchup for Florida State right after an L in week 0.
Yeah, you got to play them sometime. Might as well. Nothing like getting the L back.
And Bob is the new head coach up there at Boston College, Bill O'Brien, B.O.B. So we'll see how the Eagles turn out there. But there is plenty of college football going on tonight, including the Gus Bus. The Gus Bus is going to get fired up tonight as UCF is taking on New Hampshire, the Wildcats. UCF is a 33.5-point favorite. Also favored tonight, I'm not forgetting you there, Brian. Jacksonville State is a 4.5-point home favorite over the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina.
It's going to be a good game.
It will indeed. That is kicking at 7. I don't have to say Jacksonville State too many times. As long as Brian Temple is running the board
Actually,
back at the ranch.
If I seem a little slack, it's because I'm listening to pregame with Mike Paris over on my phone, because he just started that.
So I invited Mike has a morning show, and I'm a guest pretty frequently, and I invited him to be on, and he said, I'm going to have the pregame show. And I said, what are your priorities? I mean, goodness gracious.
Who knows?
So, maybe we could just simulcast.
Yeah. Mike Paris in his 42nd season.
Wow.
As the voice of the Gamecocks.
That's a long time.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, check out the Jacksonville State Facebook page. Nice link to a really good article about Mike. He's
yes.
Mike was actually my second boss ever in radio, and was a big part of showing me what when I was just a baby pup DJ, showing me how to do this job, and I'm grateful for him for giving me a career.
Also, there are 2 SEC teams kicking off tonight. The first one at 6:30 over on ESPNU. Arkansas, the Razorbacks are in Little Rock taking on.
Well, they lose this one.
UALR, or excuse me, Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
It's Lions versus Razorbacks.
Right. So if they lose this one, we can quit talking about it.
It'll be Bobby Petrino back at the helm.
Maybe. If that's all. They get beat 30-0, they won't be Bobby Petrino.
Well, that's true.
So
yeah.
anyway, but I'm interested to see how they look, not what the score is, but how they look. Very important.
And Missouri is in front of a sold-out crowd tonight, taking on the Racers of Murray State. So this is how Missouri.
Wasn't long ago somebody came in on the first game and beat Missouri.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago.
Had an opportunity to talk to both head coaches, and let's see here. I did start things off with Sam Pittman. Where else? The offensive line.
Coach, I always appreciate the time. Hope you're doing well.
Sure, Steve.
Wanted to ask about the offensive line. What's your evaluation coming out of fall camp of your O-line, Coach?
Well, I like them. I like the edge. I like the tackles. I feel like we hit in the portal. I like how Addison Nichols playing there at center. I don't know that we'll have Kudus. Well, I know we won't have Kudus available, but Amarian Harris has moved in there and played extremely well along with Braun. I think once we get Kudus back, I think we can be 8 or 9 deep there at that position. I like what Coach Mateus has done with them. I like the physicality. They're all on the same page. I expect to see a much improved offensive line this year.
And, Coach, if I heard you right earlier in the week about these games in Little Rock or Dallas, taking away home games, is this a conversation maybe you've had with Hunter for future schedules down the line, Coach?
Yeah, we spoke about it, but it's a very delicate situation. We are not looking. I want to make this very clear. We are not looking we have to go to Little Rock. We are not approaching it that way. We're taking our team on the road to put on a show for the folks that can't get here to Northwest Arkansas and the folks that want to travel. We are excited to go over there, but I think there's going to be a conversation, and we've had them as well, about the length of playing in Little Rock, to be perfectly honest with you. But I want to make it very clear, we're excited. As long as we play over in Little Rock, we're damn excited to go play over there.
And whenever I hear War Memorial, I immediately think of the Pirate.
Yeah.
The loudest stadium he's ever been in, Memorial.
Which was interesting.
Nothing but concrete where that sound just bounces off everything. But anyway.
So they're playing Little Rock in Little Rock. But they're
Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff.
They're playing Pine Bluff.
Okay, my bad.
And I did UALR in my head.
Yeah.
So. And played a little bit from Drink yesterday, and here is the full conversation. And he kind of called out the fans. Well, he did call out the fans earlier in the week because they were close to a sellout, and thinks this team is worthy of sellouts.
I know you started off this call by thanking the fans. How important is it, you think, because after hearing you talk to the fans a little bit in a previous press conference, to make this a sellout in the kind of environment that you want, Coach?
Yeah, I just think it was an opportunity for us as a fan base and for our university to demonstrate, our commitment to being successful at the game of football and successful as a program. There's only 7 schools in the SEC right now that have sold out their first game, and to be one of those 7, I think is an awesome statement about how important we think football is to this state and to this university. And I'm very appreciative of the fans responding to the challenge. As a leader, I think you always have an opportunity to cheer, challenge, and connect with your players, your staff, or your fan base. And we took an opportunity to challenge them, and they absolutely responded. And now it's up to us as a team to respond with our performance tomorrow night.
From a leadership standpoint, where do you think you are just from a leadership core entering into this season, you think, Coach?
Yeah, I think it was, we elect captains from our team. We have over 28 players with 4+ career starts, and our 5 captains were all returning starters, guys who played significant snaps and all started in that Cotton Bowl game last year. So I think from a leadership standpoint, from a group of guys who know what it's supposed to look like, who have faced adversity, whether you're talking about Brady Cook, who's faced multiple adversities, Theo Weiss, who's faced adversity, Christian Williams, Chuck Hicks, who's faced adversity, Johnny Walker, those guys know what it's supposed to look like. They have a consistency to who they are. And I think our team is in a great position leadership-wise.
Coach, yesterday the Oversight Council, at least at the potential of closing out one of the portal periods in the spring, was wondering your thoughts on that story that came out yesterday, Coach.
I honestly haven't had the time to kind of think through what the total implications of that are or what that will be. I think for all of us, well, I'm going to say for myself, there's a constant change right now to the rules, to how things are organized. There's so much uncertainty now, even now with the settlement and what that's going to look like with revenue sharing, that until the rules are set, I don't have the bandwidth or energy to waste on trying to figure it out. So whatever it may be, we will figure it out when they tell us.
Fair enough. And Coach, I don't know if you heard Nick Saban over the weekend on game day said that you guys have the easiest schedule in the SEC. Was wondering if maybe you had a comment on that from at least from what I heard from Coach Saban on game day over the weekend.
I mean, I guess if you consider going to A&M, to Alabama, going to South Carolina, going to Mississippi State, playing home games versus Auburn and home games versus Oklahoma easy, I mean, sure. But I don't really get caught up in comparisons, and I sure don't get caught up in the rat poison out there. So
that is the right answer. So my question is, who are the 9 teams out there that haven't sold out their SEC schools, hadn't sold out their first game?
I don't know that answer.
That's what I come back to. That's surprising.
Vanderbilt's at home. Tennessee's at home. Texas is at home. I would assume the Florida-Miami game is sold out. South Carolina's at home. Ole Miss is at home. Mississippi State is at home. Auburn is at home. Texas A&M, I would believe that would be a sellout. Kentucky's at home. And those are your home openers here in week 1. Vandy, by the way, against Virginia Tech.
Okay, so not everybody's home.
No, not everybody's at home.
Yeah.
Arkansas is in Little Rock. So, I know they don't count that as a home game, but there will be a lot of Hogs.
I bet they're the home team.
Calling tonight. They're in Little Rock. I bet they are.
There's nothing else on either, is there?
You mean
game-wise, other than Arkansas Pine Bluff game?
There's plenty of games kicking off tonight. But I did want to get to probably the news of the day came from the SEC office. SEC schools will provide public reports on player availability for conference games in football, men and women's basketball, and baseball starting this season. The league announced this today. So
Coach Saban got away with the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I mean, we would know a starter was out.
I'm telling you.
And nobody would ask him.
And it's coming out on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, the betting's getting so like it is that you almost have to.
So I was in the car this morning listening to Scott and Drew, and they replayed the Verbo commercial.
And
I went down, and my mom was just cackling about it. If you have yet to see it, it is still worth seeing. But here is Coach Saban.
Check-in time is 3.
It's 2:55.
I know.
Is this what he's doing now?
Have a seat. As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. There's no streaming, only cable television.
Any games for the kids?
No games, no fun. The kids aren't even allowed in the house. That's the rule. There's a great barbecue outside, but don't touch that. How'd you guys get inside? 2 flush maximum per bathroom visit. Yes, touch. You guys got about 10 minutes because this is daddy time in the tub.
Meanwhile,
Oh,
Yeah,
daddy
this is
time.
daddy time in the tub.
Daddy time.
This is daddy time.
I wonder if
in
he
the tub.
came out. You hear the lawnmower in the background. And Coach Saban's on the lawnmower. How much you want to bet that's the first time he's been in the lawnmower in 30, 40 years? I mean, I'm surprised Cedric wasn't. He had to be somewhere in the tape. I can't believe
Coach,
he went.
this is how you do it.
Yeah.
This is daddy time in the tub.
Such a great line.
It is. That is. Yeah.
Jesse Simonton from On 3 is going to join us. He came out with his Wednesday mailbag, which included the Connor Stallions documentary. I have not seen it. I don't know if you have.
I have not.
But
I'd be interested to watch it, though.
I think it's on Netflix.
It's an accurate documentary.
Well, we'll get a report here from Jesse. Also, is Texas overrated, and which unranked college football team will be the talk of week 1? We'll have that for you, as well as a few other conversations that I had with the coaches, and most notably Josh Heupel. I've yet to play that conversation that I had with Coach, and I taking a look at the depth chart, particularly for the Tennessee Volunteers, they are very deep along the defensive line, and I did talk to Coach Heupel specifically about
what's
that.
interesting is Tennessee lost a lot of their secondary.
Yeah.
To transfer portal. They went to Louisville, Ole Miss. So I think there's one other school, and yet they're bragging about they think they're going to be improved in the secondary. That's going to be interesting to watch if that is really the case.
Not sure how much we're going to see, tangibly this weekend when they take on the Mocs of UTC, but nonetheless, that'll be front and center this weekend. We'll hear from Josh Heupel coming up on the other side. Certainly your phone calls are welcome, walking you up to Braves baseball. It's a big series for the Braves. They're in Philadelphia taking on the Phillies 5 games back after the Braves went to Minnesota and swept out the Twins. And all of a sudden, they are starting to creep up that leaderboard. So we'll have that coverage for you coming up at the top of the hour. Let's take our first time out. Phone lines open to you as we're live here from Woody Anderson Ford at 256-576-4977. We need a little break here to get in some daddy time.
This is daddy time in the tub.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This summer, make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Make it 0% financing, make it no down payment, and make no payments for 90 days. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's our Ford Summer Sales event, and I promise you can save serious dollars on a large selection of our 2024 Fords. We've got financing as low as 0% for 36 months on 2024 F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, plus all-electric F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E. And on all these Fords I just mentioned, you'll make no down payment and no payments for 90 days. Can you say Orange Beach, here we come? This is going to be a good summer. Come choose from over 550 new Fords, and you'll learn firsthand that nobody will work harder to earn your business. Brand new award-winning Fords with 0% financing, no down payment, and no payment for 90 days with your good credit. This offer ends 9/3/24. Come see us today and make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The Huntsville Men's Clinic open in 2020 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken, but when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Huntsville Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for years. Our friendly, discreet team of urologists and doctors will take the time to listen. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. We even offer treatments for size increase with instant results. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 256-368-0333 or go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll Tide.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins. Touchdown! Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide kick off the 2024 season at home against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Our coverage begins at 3 on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. We were talking a little Vols, and on the subject of Tennessee, or as we say here in SEC country, UT, that would be the University of Tennessee. They have amended, I mean, if you really go back and think about Danny White, the athletic director at the University of Tennessee, he inherited a mess. Just a grade A Philip Fulmer mess.
It was like a train wreck you watched for a long time, just happening, just slowly.
Well, according to the new terms of his amended contract, White will jump to an annual base salary of $2.75 million, making him now, in terms of being an athletic director, the highest paid athletic director in the Southeastern Conference. And considering what he inherited, I say well deserved.
Well, yeah, anything's what you can get while you can, because I don't believe budgets are going down.
Well, that's happening.
That's why they probably got it done while they could. But I agree, he's done a good job. I just, I don't think I'd gone. I guess it's a public record.
I don't know if we know Vandy's numbers because they're a private school and other.
Well, heck, did they have an athletic director for a long time? They didn't.
No, and
it was painfully obvious.
So there's that, but I do believe they have an athletic director up there in Nashville now. I think she is. Oh goodness gracious, I cannot think of her name, but she has ties here to the community. Over at Bob Jones, I want to say. I'll look it up here in a minute while you hear from Josh Heupel. And I did start off with his backup quarterback who followed him from Orlando to Knoxville. He is the backup quarterback with a ton of experience.
I wanted to ask about Gaston Moore in particular. What kind of role does he kind of add to your team, and how valuable is a guy like Gaston in the quarterback room for you, Coach?
Yeah, Gaston's experience inside of our offense for a long time, at 2 stops, is something that, we place the value on. But his teammates can understand that too. He's got great command of what we're doing offensively. He's played really well throughout the course of training camp. And since we got back in January, has continued to really develop physically, his movement skills, and has played at a really high level through the course of spring ball and training camp. And everybody's got a lot of comfort with him. He started to take more ownership, more of a voice, within our program as well. So really excited about, what he's done and got a lot of trust trust with him, excuse me.
And defensive line in particular, how deep do you think you are there at D-line, and how competitive has that been through the spring and the fall for you, Coach?
Yeah, Coach's best friend inside his position room is competition, and we have that every single day inside of our defensive line unit. They're big, thick, strong, physical. They've done a really good job of growing just in their fundamentals, technique, using their hands. I really like the development of that group within, Coach Banks' structure and what Coach Garner and Coach Eckler and Coach Chop have done. They've done a great job of developing those guys. We have a lot of trust in them. On game day, we'll be able to rotate a lot of guys and keep those guys fresh and ready to go play physical.
That is Josh Heupel. And if you take a look at just the depth chart, and listen, I depending on who you talk to, I can hear the eyes roll a little bit. But according to the depth chart along the defensive line, there's 14 guys listed of guys that are. There's a lot of oars, and
you only can play 4.
Well, but I only see 2 freshmen along that as well. So some decent experience, and they're not little guys. I see 6'5", 243, up to 6'2", 340. Boy, that's built like a bowling ball right there.
So I'd rather block the guy that's the 6'5" guy. I'll take them guys any day. Only thing you got to be,
man.
Well, man, with you got to be careful of them guys though. On pass rush, you better get back because if they grab you, you're in big trouble with them long arms. You know what I'm saying? You got to get back. So I was watching. I'm trying to remember. He played at Miami. He coaches at Colorado. He's a defensive line coach at Colorado. I was watching him do his hand movements. He's teaching these guys how to do their hands and get their hands and all little quick movements, trying to knock hands down. I mean, it's a game. And you got to know you better be watching film on these guys to know what they do good. Are they a grabber? If they're a grabber, you want to get back. So then they take their move, right? If they use their hands like that, you got to know that. Left, they go left every time. If they do, they're easy to block.
How much did you look at tells?
That's all I looked at.
Yeah,
all day long. We'd watch film. They'd watch. I mean, it was so easy. It's easy breaking down film.
Damian Lewis is the defensive tackles coach at Colorado. Vincent Dancy is the defensive ends coach at Colorado. Either of those the ones you were thinking of, or that is the complete coaching staff there at Colorado as the cornerback
Warren
coach.
Sapp, senior quality control defense.
Okay.
He's the one who was teaching. Yeah, he played at Miami. You remember him?
Yeah. Vaguely remember 99.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was pretty good. Yeah. He the technique's so important when you're playing against somebody that's equal of you. Warren Sapp make you look silly. He was so quick. So the key to him is take angles. And if he's on the left, he's going left. He ain't going right. He's just going to try to out-quick you up the field. So, and occasionally you got to do something they don't like. Your coach might not like it either. Yeah, every once in a while you got to cut him. Get his respect. He ain't going to fight you. That's okay. I mean, he's trying to beat you up anyway. So every once in a while you just cut him. So they would see it on the film. And so, I don't like that. That I used to, you got to break it up. And you don't even want to cut them on a 5-step drop, but you don't want to cut them up on a deep drop because they can get up and still sack the quarterback. So on a 3-step drop is a quick. They just pop a pop pass bagel. Throw it really quick.
Yeah,
they're little short screens and stuff like that. Anyway, little pop pass there. Yeah,
little pop pass.
Yeah, little pop pass. Anyway, and then you look at the so there's different drop levels. So you got to do different things. There's a lot to it. But blocking great people, you better be. And you still can do everything right, and they still might get back there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I would say Warren Sapp knows what he's doing.
There's no question. I watched him. It was really fun to watch.
We're about 10 minutes away from talking with Jesse Simonton from On 3, get his temperature on potentially what we're going to see tonight. And there's been so much off the field, especially the last week up there in Boulder. We'll see what happens. North Dakota State, not the big, bad boogeyman as they were in the past, but still a very solid team. But this is year 2. And even their game notes, year 2 under Coach Prime is at the very top of their game notes here tonight.
I mean, it's all about Coach Prime. I mean, they're trying to get Colorado back to what it used to be. And he carries the duck with him. So everybody knows who he is. And they're trying to sell tickets and sell people around the country to come play for him. And he has a good message. I don't agree with everything or his thing, but I don't agree with everything anybody did, including Coach Saban.
You loved that the press conference I played a couple of weeks ago.
Well,
questioning and that report. Who knew that it was going to take on a life of its own?
That makes just life so interesting. So
after North Dakota State, they're at Nebraska, at Colorado State, and then they play host to Baylor for homecoming on September the 21st at Central Florida. Kansas State at home at Arizona. They take on Cincinnati on October the 26th. Then at Texas Tech, playing host to Utah, at Kansas, and they wrap things up with a home game against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Well, there's also a big game in Atlanta. Kirby Smart will be front and center for another season at the helm. Here is the man in charge as he gets ready for another game against Clemson. The in-game communication. We've focused a lot on the offense, but the defense in particular, what benefits do you see for this in-game communication or helmet communication defensively, Coach?
Well, not a lot. I mean, because, you have to communicate with 11 people. They don't give you 11 headsets. So, they give you one. The one guy can't really communicate to the other 10 players on defense, not as well as you can, from a sideline standpoint. So it might give one guy more information. I think some people may use it as a strategy for players that might be new or beginning, so you can communicate with them a little longer and talk to them and settle them down and hear a voice. And sometimes the signal caller is not the guy that needs that voice. So strategically, you may find some teams that put it on a player that maybe you're trying to help out more, because the signal caller's probably still going to have to get the signal, because unless you huddle on defense, that piece of equipment does not help you tremendously.
And Coach, if I could, how important is a game like this in the ever-evolving, changing landscape that we're all in? The Clemson-Georgia has a lot of history to this rivalry. How important is keeping games like this alive, you think, for the health of college football?
I think it's great. It's a non-conference traditional rivalry that the fan bases love. The passion, energy, and pageantry is always been there, but these two schools certainly have a great history independent of each other, but they have a great history against each other.
I was wondering, maybe your biggest question you have on your team entering into game one is what?
How will we respond? How we respond to something really good happening, and how we respond to something not so good happening, because both are going to happen. Hadn't played in a game yet where, something you didn't something you didn't expect happened. The response time to that is probably the biggest unknown.
That is Kirby Smart.
Was that a car peeling off in the background?
A little bit.
You think that was done by somebody in Georgia? You think he was in the parking lot?
Wow. There is so Mike Griffith was on earlier in the week, and he believes that we're not going to see suspensions, that we're going to see fines instead of suspensions from Kirby Smart in this NIL world.
Where's the money going? Charity, I guess.
I would assume so.
Well, it's going to be that's the game. So the important games of the SEC, in my opinion.
What did you think of his defensive communication?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know what I think. You don't want to be the one that has the headset. I'll tell you that.
He'll be mid-sentence at 15 when they cut it off, and the player's going to be like, thank God.
Yeah, but when it comes back on, what are you doing? And that won't be that's the watered down version.
Yeah.
Be yelling in your ear, where are you doing all that? You know,
and no one's going to be screaming dump.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to hear it. It'd be better than anything you ever listen to Race Car and all that.
Well, those NASCAR scanners back in the day.
Yeah, I would love to be on the listen to those. They ought to tape them.
Oh my gosh.
But he's right. I mean, so they changed the play, especially Kirby. Kirby's a master.
Mm-hmm.
What he's so good at, and Alabama is. I think it's the reason they win is they know he's good at it. He'll run a defense on third down that they're gonna have an auto check. They're gonna check to it, and he's gonna change the defense. And then he might do it once or twice a game. That's one or twice that you got to punt. They're automatic. I mean, I've seen him do it his whole career. He's a master at it. All the great coaches. Coach Bryant used to do it with, they would know, hey, they're going to, if you get in this defense, there's one or two plays they're going to run. And then, and then you change your defense. And there's nothing they can do. So it's because usually they're quick throws or over the middle throws, and you might get a pick off of them. There are a lot of games that go in, but he's right. The thing you don't know how your team's going to react. Are they going to get a lead and then rest, or are they going to keep fighting, or are they going to, or something bad's going to happen, and then they're just going to freak out for a quarter. And cause one mistake to go to 10. So you find out a lot about your team the first game, and then if you can win that first game against good opponents, it's going to help you. That adversity helps you because you learn about your team, learn about what you need, and but if you lose it, it's never good to lose the first game. Never.
Hard to win them all if you can't win the first one.
It's impossible.
Jesse Simonton is scheduled to join us. So let's go ahead and take our final timeout. We're live here from Woody Anderson Ford, walking up to Braves and Filthies.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
The Huntsville Men's Clinic open in 2020 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Huntsville Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for years. Our friendly, discreet team of urologists and doctors will take the time to listen. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. We even offer treatments for size increase with instant results. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 256-368-0333 or go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. A partly cloudy sky expected for this Thursday night. We'll sit in the mid-70s as low temperatures fall throughout the overnight tonight. Heading into our Friday, scattered showers, potentially a few thunderstorms going to be possible, mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see another day full of sunshine, high temperatures topping out in the upper 90s, but heat index values will continue to stay in the lower 100s. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Banners are back at Toyota Field for a home stand against the Tennessee Smokies. Today at 6:20 on Talk Radio WZZN 97.7 HD2 and the Talk Radio WZZN app.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford. He's West Neighbors. My name is Steve Moulton. Let's talk a little college football, shall we? As there's plenty of it kicking off tonight, including down in Jacksonville, Alabama, as Jacksonville State takes on Coastal Carolina, but plenty to dive into from On 3. It's Jesse Simonton who's kind enough to join us. How are you, Jesse? Welcome to Game Day.
Welcome. It's been a long time coming. We finally made it.
Yes, we did. I did also read your latest column. I wanted to start with the Connor Stallions documentary. I have not seen it. I don't have a Netflix account. Is it worth me getting a Netflix account?
There's a lot of things on Netflix that are worth, I think, paying for. I would not say the Untold series is among them. They're well produced. They look nice, but they're kind of just shiny. They're not. It's probably a tad of a stretch to even call it a documentary. It's more of kind of for the various subjects they've done. Whether it's the Te'o one was pretty good. Florida one I thought was pretty mundane, especially someone that covered the Gators. A lot of that stuff had already been most of it had been previously reported. I've joked that they ought to call this series Told instead of Untold because a lot of this stuff's already been out there. So the Connor Stallions doc, I mean, it was really kind of 90 minutes of a PR infomercial for Connor Stallions. That's not to say that it was completely bereft of some kind of interesting or entertainment. There were times that I did get a chuckle. he certainly, is kind of the hero of his own story. That is quite evident. He's a smart guy, but he's probably the first guy in history to basically go to the Naval Academy and then join the Marines just to eventually become a football coach. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of it, I think ultimately, Steve, is that a lot of folks, just seem kind of tired of the story and want it to go away. And that's not just the Michigan people that are, raising their hands and saying, "Oh, hey, we didn't cheat," or what have you. It's just, I think everybody's just kind of ready to move past this.
I think one of my favorite lines, at least from press conference last year, was Trankowitz saying that he was going to hire Stallions to help. And maybe he did help him with the bowl game because it turned out to be a win there for Mizzou. But I'll stick with Ozarks there on Netflix rather than Told Stories. So moving over to Texas. So you said Texas overrated ? And, of course, we're here in SEC land that at least coming out of fall camp, that they had a very, very late addition from the portal on a graduate transfer from SMU. But do you think Texas is overrated, Jesse?
Yeah, I put a big that was in my mailbag. I put a big TBD on that one.
That's why I'm asking you.
I think the only team that we can adequately say that it's overrated at this point is Florida State, because they're the one top 10 team that we have data on. Really, I don't know. I do think that Texas's championship odds should absolutely be dinged with the injuries they've sustained at running back. You alluded to the SMU transfer. That guy has not given a lot of production at a couple different spots. He's kind of depth purposes only. I think the C.J. Baxter loss is a big loss, especially when you consider just how much Steve Sarkisian uses the running backs, not only just, in the ground game, but as part of that passing attack. I mean, both Baxter and Blue and Brooks a year ago were all heavily involved in the passing game. Obviously, Bijan Robinson was kind of a do-it-all beast for the Longhorns the last couple seasons before last year. So I think that's a hit. So I think their championship odds are taking a hit. Are they overrated? Maybe they're not, the fifth or sixth best team in the country, but this is still an extremely talented roster. They have some questions and concerns on the defensive interior, which I noted. One doesn't simply replace Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. But I really like what they have on the edge. Trey Moore, I think, is going to become kind of a household name. Everybody, and myself included, is really excited about Nick Scorton at Texas A&M. But I think Texas's edge transfer, Trey Moore from UTSA, is going to be a guy a lot of the SEC fans get to know this year. They are kind of changing a complete, it is kind of a completely new set of characters on the perimeter in terms of the offensive playmakers. They're all really quality players. Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, Mari Nyblack at tight end, Silas Bolden, Oregon State. But as we saw with Florida State, and I think this Texas offense has much, much more higher ceiling than Florida State's offense. Florida State was dealing with a lot of newness on offense too, and it just can be clunky. And I think that could be a concern for like a Miami this weekend. When you portal in this many guys, it just takes some time. And so Texas is in no danger, obviously, this week. They're 32 or 33-point favorites. But will they be ready next week against Michigan? Will they be ready the first, SEC game they play? So not overrated, but I am TBD on if they are maybe, the third or fourth best team in the country.
I'm starting to there's quite a few games in the SEC that I'm really genuinely wanting to watch, and starting to creep into my wheelhouse is Miami and Florida, not just for the rivalry factor, Jesse, but starting to hear more and more about Graham, and he was rather consistent last year. It was the defensive side, and Miami feels like a roller coaster. I don't know which Hurricanes we're going to see Saturday afternoon in the Swamp.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Miami is on paper. Miami is absolutely the more talented team here. Miami should win this game, and it would surprise absolutely no one if the Hurricanes lost on Saturday and then came back and won the ACC for the first time ever. I just think there's that sort of volatility with this program, with Mario Cristobal. You know, he just hired a time management consultant. You know, that's about 10 years too late, but at least he, you know, finally addressed it. You know,
Georgia Tech appreciated it last year.
Yeah, and you know, there was Stanford and some other teams have taken advantage of him, you know, dating back to Oregon and FIU days. So I think this game is fascinating. You know, I'll be in Gainesville for it. It's going to be this is a game that's just like it's just ripe with narrative. It's come 7 p.m. Whoever loses this game, you're gonna. I want you know, all your listeners to go Google, or you know, this is a free ad here, but go look up Message Board Geniuses on Twitter and go ahead and bookmark that site because it's gonna be on fire. I mean, you want to talk about fire and brimstone and you know, pitchforks coming out. Whoever loses this game, they've been told for 6 months that this season's going to be different. We know Florida's expectations are really low, but not externally, excuse me. Or externally, they're low. Internally, they believe they have a pretty good football team. And Billy Napier's been pretty public about that, you know, in the last month or so. Again, Cristobal has said this is his best team, most talented team. You know, there's no more excuses in terms of, you know, pointing the finger at kind of the Manny Diaz, what he inherited or what was left over. I think there's only 7 scholarship players or thereabouts that are still on the roster from the Manny Diaz era. So this is Cristobal's team. I think Cam Ward is going to be really good come season's end, but he does kind of have some whoopsie to his game. You know, he'll turn the ball over a little bit. So if he totally in sync with Restrepo and some of those receivers in week 1, you know, here's the thing, Steve. It's really, you know, we spend 6 months talking about these teams in the off season, and we have a lot of hypotheses and we think, and I believe, or this is what I surmise, but we don't really know anything. And that's why, you know, people talk about overreactions to week 1 to week 2 or week 0 to week 1. I don't really see it that way because college football season is so fast. You know, there's only really 12 data points. This will obviously be the longest season in history. But this one data point will mean a lot for the entire season. And so what happens 3:30 in the Swamp on Saturday is going to be mighty interesting.
Well, the other one that is, at least I'm circling more and more intrigue around it. It does feel like this is a play-in game, playoff implication in a big way for Notre Dame, simply because after the game Saturday, 2 more true road games for Notre Dame, and I think one of them is at Purdue. So I know they end with USC, but to me, it feels like a big college football playoff implication game for Notre Dame on Saturday, Jesse.
Yeah, I viewed it kind of in a similar light, especially when you talk about their strength of schedule. I think maybe it probably took a little bit of a hit with Florida State losing. Now that is counterbalanced a little bit because even though Florida State was going to be seen as one of the 3 toughest games on their schedule, they do also play Georgia Tech. So that game now maybe looks a little more challenging. So maybe that does kind of balance itself out a little bit. But if they lose on Saturday in College Station, they have very little margin for error the rest of the season if they want to make the playoff. I'm not sure a 10-2 Notre Dame team, if you only beat, say, a Florida State, and if USC is just kind of so-so in the Big Ten and you lose to that team, you know, we'll see kind of Louisville, their expectations are kind of all over the map. Some people really like the card. Some people think they're going to kind of recede to the middle of the pack this year in the ACC. So I think this is a huge opportunity, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of familiarity with Riley Leonard and Mike Elko squaring up against each other. I have very little concerns about Notre Dame's defense. You know, they have Howard Cross on the defensive line, I think is, you know, among the top 25 players in all of college football. They have 2 All-Americans in the secondary. This is a game that I feel like is going to really be a slobber knocker, though, because Texas A&M, I have real questions about what they have on the outside in terms of weapons at wide receiver. They obviously already lost Owens, their 5-star running back for the season. So, while they may have the best defensive line in this game or even in the country maybe, and they're going up against a Notre Dame offensive line that's mighty green, I think they just have what I heard this week, 6 combined starts between the 5 guys. They're going to start a true freshman at left tackle. So that's kind of a nightmarish situation going into College Station. And yet that place isn't exactly the house of horrors that so many people have made it up to be. If Texas A&M was so darn good, they wouldn't be rolling through coaches. If College Station was, the hardest place to play in the country, they wouldn't be rolling through as many coaches as they have in the last 20 years. So I think this is a coin flip game. This is in my, teaser for my best bets column coming out at On 3 tomorrow. I like the under in this game. But, picking a side, I think it's just kind of, which quarterback are you rolling with? Are you rolling with Riley Leonard, who, is he healthy? Or are you rolling with Connor Wegman? Is he healthy? Question mark, for both.
And, of course, Howard Cross.
Yeah, from our area.
Is from here.
Yeah.
His dad.
Yeah, his dad is from New
right
Hope.
here, New Hope, Alabama.
Yeah, New Hope, in our listening area here in North Alabama. Well, it does feel a little bit like an ACC SEC challenge this weekend, especially with Georgia Clemson. And I'll even throw in Virginia Tech Vanderbilt. And I know I can hear people rolling their eyes, but there is a lot changed at Vanderbilt from last year to this year. If they could somehow hang, it is a home game for Vanderbilt, although there'll probably be more Hokie fans. But if Vandy could just hang with Virginia Tech, I would put that as a win for the SEC, Jesse.
I don't think the SEC is big on, faux, whatever you want to call it, faux wins there. I think Vanderbilt's going to, I think Vanderbilt's going to, A, have a long season, and B, because I'm high on Virginia Tech, I think they're going to get their teeth kicked in by the Hokies. The Hokies, you talk about all the new that Vanderbilt has. I think Virginia Tech returns 9 on defense, all 11 on offense, number 1 nationally in returning production. Kyron Drones now full season from him at quarterback. Brent Pry really has that program kind of positioned in his vision now. So I foresee a long afternoon, on Broadway for the Commodores.
Jesse, really appreciate the insight. Enjoy some college football, and always appreciate the time, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Sounded like daddy time.
Yeah, it was daddy time, wasn't it? It was definitely daddy time. I didn't think about that.
It was daddy time.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
This is daddy time in the tub. This is daddy time in the tub.
This is daddy time in the tub.
I didn't want to call him out, but I mean, for those of you that do,
here, a flush.
For those of you that do have HD radios, I'm sure you probably heard the same thing we did.
Yes.
This is daddy time in the tub.
Oh God!
Genuinely appreciate Jesse.
Do we have the tape of Kiffin?
I've got it somewhere.
Yeah.
Another pop pass?
Yeah, a little pop pass.
Yeah, there's pop passes all
everywhere.
over the place.
It's unbelievable. Stand up, throw the ball.
We got daddy time in the tub and pop passes all over the place here. What are you doing for? Oh my goodness gracious! I know I've got it somewhere, and
we got that needs to be with that daddy time. Daddy time in the tub. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And that made national news.
It does
because he denied it.
Yes, he denied it. But he was talking to me.
It was just you and him on the phone.
We were in.
Anyway, all right.
That is going to wrap us up here from Woody Anderson Ford.
Daddy time in the tub.
Oh, time. Well, tomorrow we've got a bunch of high school football. We've got more high school football than I have time to tell you. So head over to our website, check out the calendar, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is daddy time in the tub.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available